Let's get ready to rumble!
Six-time world champion New England Patriots.
Edelman's going to throw.
The quarterback's arm.
Let's go. Intercepted. Somehow they blew the coverage. Oh, that's a catch. Hello, Super Bowl.
We are all Patriots. And tonight,
Patriots are Super Bowl champions. The Patriots are Super Bowl champions.
Hello and welcome into another episode of the Pats Pack Podcast. I am here, the host, Josh, and as always, with my good friend, Josh Fadella. Josh, how are we doing on this fine Thursday evening?
Doing pretty good, my friend. How are you?
I am doing well. Do you know why?
Hey, I'll leave it to you.
Because it's getting warmer out. That's why.
Not expected.
Yeah, I know, right? Definitely a plot twist from what we normally say. But you know what? As always, do you want to say it this time? This might be the last time we do
I've been waiting all year to say this.
I'll let you say it this time, just once. Actually. No, go ahead.
It's a great day to be great.
As always, we are here. We are going to be previewing the Buffalo Bills matchup this Saturday night, 8:15. Be there or be square. I actually had the opportunity to go to this game, but I am not going to this game. Needless to say, the spread for this game -4 in favor of the Bills. Moneyline New England +169. The over/under is set at 44. On to the injury report here. Starting off on the Pats side of things, we got Jamie Collins did not practice yesterday, Wednesday, with an ankle injury. Isaiah Wynn, hip/ankle, also did not practice. This is not updated. This is the most recent practice report we have at the time of filming. So if this is a little off, I apologize. Sorry, but not sorry. Moving on here, everyone else was limited in practice on Wednesday. David Andrews with a shoulder injury. Christian Barmore with the knee injury was limited. That's actually impressive.
Huge.
That he's even practicing, because I didn't expect him.
He couldn't even put on weight.
Yeah. Cody Davis, wrist injury. Kyle Duggar with a hand. That's good to see him back in limited fashion. Nick Foles still on this injury report with that left knee. Lawrence Guy, a new addition with a shoulder injury. Damian Harris still battling that hamstring injury. Dante Hightower with a knee injury. Good to see him on in limited fashion. Brandon King with a toe injury. Jacoby Myers with a thigh injury. And Adrian Phillips is still on the injury report with that knee. So, a couple of things to take away here. Isaiah Wynn. I'm personally not expecting to see him out there Sunday. What do you think?
I agree. I don't think there's a chance that he even suits up.
Yeah, especially, DNP, both, on a short week, both assuming Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. There's really no hope. Or I don't want to say no hope, but I'm really not optimistic that he's going to be out there. What do you think needs to happen if he's out? And do you have any concerns with him being out?
Yeah, kind of. Honestly, he's had a pretty solidified role as the left tackle, albeit being an undersized lineman per se, but he's been that guy for the past few years when healthy. It's just gonna kind of suck. I really don't want to see Justin Herron there. I would like to see more Onwenu.
Right. Even if he has been a little bit of a disappointment since he's gotten to New England, he's still your starting left tackle.
Exactly, yeah.
It's kind of like when you get out of an abusive relationship and you're kind of done with the significant other, and you're just like, you know what, I don't care. I don't want to see him anymore. I'm done. No kumbaya, finished. But at the same time, you're like, I do kind of miss him. I did love him at one point. He was great, etc., etc. Anyway, getting off of the relationship talk, because I am not a therapist, and getting back onto the football side of things. Jamie Collins, I was surprised to see him on this injury report. Reason for concern there.
A little bit, just because we don't know how well or how healthy Dante Hightower is going to be. So you saw in limited action, Jamie Collins was out there. He was doing a pretty solid job, but it's just the depth is not. I don't think it's not exactly a strength. They have good depth. It's just, I don't know. These injuries are piling up, man.
Yeah, and this is a very extensive injury report. And you're going to look at the Bills side. It's like empty. It's almost empty.
Yeah,
which
COVID and injury.
Yeah, literally, which is actually mind-blowing. Moving on down this injury report. So Christian Barmore, we talked about this a little bit. That he needs to be active. That's not even like, that'd be cool to see him out there. That would be big for the team. It's more on the lines of, this needs to happen.
Just this pressure rate, and he's just highly graded as an interior lineman. He'd be huge.
Absolutely, and I really think, especially, we're going to talk about this a little bit later on, but if you want to win this game, you're going to have to make Josh Allen uncomfortable, and I feel like to do that, you need Barmore out there.
Yeah, definitely.
Moving again down the list, both Duggar and Hightower, as I mentioned previously, were back in practice in limited fashion. Duggar actually was not spotted during the media portion yesterday, but he's still listed as limited, so that's kind of interesting. I don't really have anything to add to that, but everyone else besides the people we talked about, I would expect to be out there, even both Hightower and Duggar. Really the only person on this injury report, well, besides Jamie Collins and Isaiah Wynn, who did not practice, the only one that's really a question mark in my mind is Barmore, which is a good sign to see him practicing. But anything else you want to take away from this initial injury report before we move on to the COVID list?
Not really. We're looking forward to the leadership that Hightower brings.
Great day to be great. Leaders lead, ballers ball. COVID list. We got Jalen Mills and Sean Wade. So Jalen Mills, he's really having a career year across the board here, believe it or not, which I don't think a lot of people have realized. Overall defensive grade, this is PFF grades, 67.5. Run defensive grade, 75.3. 64.1 grade when it comes to tackling. Pass rush grade of 79.3. And overall PFF grade of 63.5, or excuse me, that is coverage grade. So what does this mean for the Pats if Jalen can't suit up in this one?
It's huge. I mean, you saw they brought up they signed D'Angelo Ross and Cravon LeBlanc. It's just huge. He's very underrated. He's had his, a roller coaster season, but overall he's been a very solid corner for someone who's spending their first year in New England.
I feel like the second half of the year, he's really come on strong. He's really looked pretty well. I remember in that Cowboys game, he was not looking well, the game we went to. But ever since then, you know what? Ball is ball. Great day to be great. Definitely going to be a big loss if he cannot be out there. But hopefully with these new protocols, especially since he did test positive earlier in the week, there's hope. But at the same time, this game being on Saturday definitely hurts those chances, and that is hard to argue. Moving on to the Bills side of things here. Only 3 people on this injury report, and there's really almost nothing to take away from. So we got Efe I can never say this name. Efe Abuada. Great job, Josh. Ankle injury, practice in full. Emmanuel Sanders, knee injury, practice in full. Coles Beasley, load management, did not practice. No one on the COVID list. Anything you want to take away from there? I'm assuming you don't want to take away because this is a pretty empty injury report, but I'll let you have the floor here for a second. I'll let you toot your horn. I'll let you squirt the water, whatever you would like.
What the hell? No, there's none.
Moving on here. So the one team I really did not want in this matchup was Buffalo.
Really?
Maybe Kansas City. That's the only one. But the Bengals, absolutely, I would rather have the Bengals.
Oh, hell
the Titans, absolutely would have rather had the Titans. They've already seen Mac twice. They owned him last time. You essentially emptied your run playbook like the first time you played them, which you can even make the argument that the first time was a fluke. I feel like the Bills are going to come out and say, we have something to prove because the Pats were all, high on life after they beat us the first time in Buffalo in that wild, windy game. They want to prove that they're the best team in this division. How do you feel going into this game against Buffalo on the road?
Not bad. Definitely not as confident as I was. I'm definitely more confident in it now than before, just because obviously the Pats have better coaching, and my assumption is that Bill hasn't and the staff hasn't reached fully into the bag of tricks. You know what I mean? You don't know what they've had, say, for the playoffs. But Buffalo, like you said, they've dominated Mac. They won the division 2 years in a row, and they're coming off a win, and we're coming off an L. It's just Mac hasn't looked good. There's questions. If they stop the run, it doesn't look, the future looks blim.
It's going to be very interesting. I really just don't have a feeling about this one. Ever since the Pats beat the Bills in Buffalo, Bills are 4-1. Great day to be great as always. So kind of moving on to some of the key factors I see coming into this game. So Stephon Diggs, 103 catches on the year, over 1,200 yards, 10 touchdowns, a career high. Him and J.C. Jackson, Island Boy. We know how this went the last time they played each other. That island was put up for sale. That crypto island that he bought, crypto tanked. You know what I'm saying? No more Dogecoin. No more Shiba Inu. I can't even say that. I can't speak. Who wins this matchup, and how important is it that JC brings his A- game here?
Oh, man, it's not even A-, A+, something. You got to show up. Definitely, I expect less one-on-one single coverage. More like a lineup where they'll double him. That's he can't stop him 1v1. And he looks forward to the matchup. He's been saying, he's looking forward to Act 3, but to be honest, you know what I mean? It's just, come on.
Island boy. Do you think it seemed like last time they played, Bill kind of said, all right, go do your thing. Do you think he does that again? Do you think he gives him some safety help over the top or try to box him in a little bit or something like you usually see like him do with someone like DeAndre Hopkins or one of those number one receivers?
Yeah, they're going to give him help.
I would hope so because based on what we saw last time, it was not great.
No.
I have seen much better coverage in my very short NFL analyst career. Anyway, moving on down this list here. So the Bills should obviously be at full strength here, as we talked about. That injury report's essentially empty, as well as the COVID list, barring anything crazy happening within the next 48 hours or so, which means both Cole Beasley and Gabriel Davis should be out there. They should be locked and loaded. Any concerns with those two coming back and Josh Allen having a more upgraded receiving core compared to the last time when Isaiah McKenzie was the main event?
Absolutely. When we don't have clear... we don't know who's going to be there at corner. We know J.C. Jackson's going to be there. And but like Jalen Mills, you don't know if he's going to show up. You don't know if Miles Bryant's going to be able to show up. And he got roasted last time. So anyone on that receiving core is really like something to pay attention to.
Are you saying if Miles Bryant doesn't come off the COVID list?
Yes.
He came off the COVID list a couple days ago.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that, actually.
Yeah. So Miles Bryant will be out there. Not that that makes you feel any better, but he will be out there. This must be so hard to game plan because you're like, all right, I don't know if I'm going to have this guy. I don't know if I'm going to have this guy. And obviously, Shaun Wade's not that irrelevant because he hasn't played since they traded for him. But, I mean, you're starting corner, and it could always be worse. But at the same time, if I was an NFL head coach, I would just have trouble sleeping at night. I would be so stressed out and so paranoid, just thinking all the time, what if this guy gets COVID? What if Mac Jones gets COVID? What if David Andrews gets COVID? I would legitimately be paranoid 24/7.
I wonder how many players or just people in the NFL legitimately lie about their status.
I mean, that's tough for me to answer because first and foremost, I don't play in the NFL, if you couldn't tell. But secondly, I would assume not.
Probably not many.
I don't know exactly what the protocols are. Like, I don't know if it's like if you see someone coughing or if you see someone sneeze, it's like COVID, test him now. Or if it's kind of like lenient. I really don't know. Obviously, for unvaccinated players, it's probably, as you could tell by the protocols, a tighter leash, you could say. I have no idea. But I do find it kind of interesting. And, I mean, we'll see what happens this year, that no big names have tested positive for COVID throughout the playoffs. Like, I'd like to pull this up in some sort of utilization report and see what the all-star caliber players were that had COVID like during the regular season and the playoffs, and I guarantee it was like this and like this.
Oh, absolutely.
One's zigging, the other is zagging. So, moving down the list here, Bills defense. They lost Tre'Davious White after they played the Saints. Obviously, they miss him. Obviously, it's hard to say, like, yeah, we're better without him. They have not slowed down too much, which is very interesting. Since they lost him, they're 4-2, and you could even make the argument 4-1 after and throw out that game when they played the Pats in that windy city. I feel like that's all I've been saying, and I'm really sick of saying that, to be perfectly honest. Are you scared of the Bills' defense here?
Yeah, especially if they even remotely play the same way they did against Mac last time.
It's just, I don't know. I think this is going to be a tough matchup, but you only put up 21 points. You probably should have put up way less than that, and I think you got pretty lucky putting out that many points. Like, I don't think anyone would have been surprised if that final score turned out 31-14 or 31-10 by any means at all.
Yeah. It's like a positive sign is you see the Pats make these chunk plays, but it's like once they get to the red zone, they're not doing anything with it.
Exactly. They're just not putting points on the board, and higher score wins. This is not golf, ladies and gentlemen, if you know what I'm saying. So, first two games against Buffalo, Pats ran the ball a total of 73 times, 371 yards, and 4 touchdowns. My man, Damian Harris, designated hitter, grabbing 28 carries for 214 yards and all 4 touchdowns. Even if he's limited by this hamstring injury, looking at these numbers here, over the past 2 games, only 20 carries. Usage has definitely been limited outside of the red zone. The majority of those carries have definitely come in the red zone. how important is it to run the ball here, and how vital is it that Damian Harris is out there to control the rock?
Oh, it's completely vital. It's just that this is their identity as an offense.
It's just, I know they're rotating drives here, but I feel like their production definitely takes a hit when Damian Harris is not in there.
Definitely. Yeah.
And Ramondre Stevenson has done a really great job, and I think he's going to continue to come on as he gets older and as he gets his second year under his belt. But as of right now, I feel like you need Damian Harris out there, and I don't know if that hamstring is going to allow him to be out there.
It's a possibility. I think it'll be fine. I think it'll be one of those things where they interchange between drives.
That's what they've been doing all year. I would definitely expect to still see that. But you've seen a couple of times now, Damian Harris, starts slowly gets off to a slow start and re-injures the hamstring. Like, this is not the first time we've seen this movie. So I really wouldn't like to not see a repeat of that and just have him back to his normal workhorse bell cow role. But there's a reason I'm not Bill Belichick, and I'm sitting here talking to you, and I'm not game planning for this game. Can the Pats contain Josh Allen here?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We have the pieces.
He was definitely a problem in Week 16 when he got outside the pocket. I feel like you can't let him scramble and pick up those first downs like he did. I remember there was one play specifically that we talked about when we did the recap show. It was a 4th and 2. J.C. Jackson had him in the backfield. Josh was able to go left, right, left, or whatever it was and get out of it. How can they make Josh uncomfortable here? Love the name, hate the player. How can they make him uncomfortable to the point where he's going to make some of those mistakes that they were banking on him making when they played in Week 16?
You're going to have to try to get to him early. You got to change your approach defensively, especially just pass rush wise. Don't give him time in the pocket. And I think, for example, J.C. Jackson's missed tackle, that's not necessarily, it looked horrible and it was like a huge 4th down, mistake. But that wasn't necessarily Josh Allen just crossing him. That was just J.C. Jackson taking a poor angle. So that's something technique-wise that can be fixed.
It's also, that game should not have come down to a 4th and 2, and you're asking your starting quarterback to make a tackle on Josh Allen. I feel like that's not exactly how you draw it up in the film room. But who knows? I really hope Bill does change up this defense, because the last time they played, from what I noticed, is they didn't do anything different. The Bills just kind of kept scoring, kept moving the ball. And they just said, let's see if Josh Allen makes a mistake. Josh, he did not make a mistake. He was actually fantastic. He took the great day to be great saying, and he went and ran with it.
Yeah, he showed up to play.
So a couple more things here before we wrap up. So Matt Judon, very key here, I feel like, going kind of correlated to making Josh Allen uncomfortable. 12.5 sacks this season. First 9 games, he had 9 sacks and 16 QB hits. 3.5 sacks and 9 pressures only the rest of the way. He hasn't had a sack or a QB hit since Week 13. How important is he? And is he even more important if Barmore sits in this one?
He's just huge, even on and off. But yeah, you really look forward to that pressure off the edge. You know what I mean? That guy that sets the tone. You want to see the red sleeve up in the air. You know what I'm saying? But this is not typical Matt Judon, early season. Like you said, the past 4 games, 0 sacks. So we really need that Pro Bowl form. Maybe he's in the doghouse right now for those mistakes that he's made. But come playoff time, it's time to show up. Great day to be great. Winners are made in the playoffs. Ed Oliver, he was a problem in Week 16. He was a big problem. He had a sack, 2 QB hits. He definitely was in there a lot, definitely had a lot of pressures. He played very, very well getting that, and it really helped out a lot in that win in Foxborough. Any concerns about Ed Oliver, and are you even more concerned if Isaiah wins out? Yeah, I'm concerned. He's a very talented player. So, him going against anyone on that interior line besides Shaq Mason and David Andrews does worry me.
To me, he's the guy you got to slow down. You got to start with him. I feel like you got to slow down him, and then you can worry about everything else. Because if he gets going, then it's game over.
Yeah, definitely.
Last thing before we move on to the keys of the game here. Mac Jones, 16-35, 164 yards in the first 2 matchups. That's not good. Obviously, don't need to beat a dead horse here. You can kind of throw out the first one because of all the win and everything like that. I'm not going to go too much into detail on that. But the Bills could very well commit to stacking 5 or 6 guys in the box here. I feel like
absolutely.
that's not out of the realm of possibility, especially because the Pats have legitimately committed to the run. They don't care if they're ahead. They don't care if they're behind. They're basically saying we are going to run the ball and we don't care if we win or lose. Wind should not be a problem in this one. I did check the weather report. It's going to be cold, but it's not going to be windy. Like very minimal wind. How important is it that Matt gets some confidence going early here?
He's got to get it going quick, man. It's huge.
I feel like this game, like we're going to know how this game's going to go the first time the Pats have the ball. If they get off to a slow start, the game's essentially over. They go 3 and out, like I might just turn the game off. Probably not going to do that, but I could.
If they get behind, it's probably over.
I don't think if they get behind, like if the Bills come down, say they take the ball first and go and score, that's bad, but I don't think it's
not as bad.
It's not like panic city. If the Pats, if the Bills go down, score, Pats get the ball back, and they go 3 and out, then we have a big problem, and I think that will really show that that's the way the game's going to go. Anything you want to add here before we move on to the keys of the game?
Probably let's just go to the keys of the game. Yeah.
All right. So, Mac, do your job. Throw the ball. Get him some confidence going early. I feel like that's the first and foremost thing you got to do the first time you touch the ball. Win the turnover battle. Joshua, we cannot turn the ball over 3 times like we did last week. Mac Jones can't throw a stupid pick like that. The center cannot just botch a snap like that in the playoffs. It just cannot happen. And convert on third down. Josh, if we are sitting here on Sunday and the Pats go 1 of 10 on third down again, I will legitimately lose my mind. And I am not kidding. Anything you want to add to that?
Just like I was saying earlier, don't get behind, because what we've seen the past few games is it's been really tough for the Pats to, get back in the game like that. To rely on Hunter Henry and Jacoby Myers. I want to see him hit those guys up, you know what I mean? But and 3, the turnovers, man.
Yeah,
that's it.
Definitely cannot have them turning the ball over. It's definitely good to be playing from ahead. Hopefully that happens. That would be really nice if that all plays out in my mind. Not super optimistic here. All right. Bold prediction for the game and final score.
My bold prediction and my final score is we win 21-17.
Wow. Low scoring game. You're taking the under in this one?
I am.
Wow. My bold prediction. Ladies and gentlemen at home, you are in for a treat if you made it this far. This is the Jonnu Smith blow-up game.
Oh, my God.
I'm putting it out there in the universe right now. This is the Jonnu Smith blow-up game. I have no idea. I have no statistics. I have no reason to believe that it's going to happen. I'm speaking it into existence, Josh. Tell your friends.
Free Jonnu Smith.
Hashtag free Jonnu Smith. Let them know and let them know loud and clear. This boy is hungry, and he's got some oatmeal, and he's putting peanut butter on it, if you know what I'm saying. Final score, I think the Pats still take the loss here. I'm going to say 28-17.
All right.
Anything else you want to add before we wrap up here, or are we good to get out of here?
No, let's get this win, baby.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for listening. Make sure to like and subscribe. We will be back to recap this game, and have a great weekend. Bye-bye.